And welcome back to the Core Creation Series. Today's Core Creation Series request is just what I wrote down before people actually started giving me them. And that is, what is the quirk of Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Now, with Aang, obviously I wanted to go with either an airbending quirk or some sort of quirk that allowed him to manipulate all the elements. The problem is that is kind of a busted quirk. Not to say that you can't have a busted quirk in My Hero. I'm just saying that that type of quirk in and of itself is pretty damn busted. So I'm like, do I just go with a wind manipulation quirk, which we already have one with the what was it, Gale Force or something like that? I can't remember the exact name of the quirk, but it's used by the guy who was a rival to Shoto in the licensing exams. But I ultimately decided, hey, first off, this guy, his hero name would be Avatar, not the Avatar, just Avatar. Ultimately, I did go with a multi-bending element quirk. The basic four: water, fire, wind, and earth. He can bend any of the four elements he desires. But before it awakens, there's strict limitations on what he can do. He can't create He can't create any elements. He has to manipulate existing elements. I think that's the perfect way to kind of nerf this quirk down a little bit. Whereas someone like Shoto, or again, whose guy's name I can't remember, or Kaminari can actually create the elements they manipulate to whatever degree. Aang can't do that. Now, what he can do is manipulate any existing element that is around. Obviously, air is just always present, so the air one, that's a given. Earth is usually around you, so earth is a given. If he's near water, water is a given. And he can manipulate other people's quirks to a degree. If Shoto fires off a massive wall of fire, well then Aang can just stop it right there and just either manipulate it or toss it around. Same would be true for anyone using earth, wind, or whatever. He can also only do one at once. That, I think, is the other good way to kind of balance this quirk out, because manipulating all the elements is just ridiculous. But the fact is, he can only focus on one at a time until he eventually awakens the quirk. With awakening the quirk, he would have more control over the quirks, the elements themselves. It would need more focus, admittedly, but he's also capable of now using more than one. He can probably use two at a time, similar to how Shoto can technically do both his fire and his ice at once. So that I think would be the perfect balance for Aang, is that this would basically be his avatar state. When using more than one element at once, his eyes would glow, his tattoos would even glow, and ergo his avatar state. He can't use all of his elements at once, but he would ultimately gain greater control, and he'd be able to use multiple at once versus just a single element. There might even be we could even go even further and say that there are elements that he has better control of than others. Fire, water, and air. Air being his most predominant, it's the easiest one, it's always around him. Earth would, I think, be the most difficult, because it was the most difficult for him originally, and it just doesn't work towards his mentality, obviously. But beyond that, it's a very strong, stiff element, though it can be flowing in its own right. I think water and fire would also be pretty easy, as he had an easy time with them. So that is the quirk of Aang. Pretty simple, pretty quick, but that is the quirk we got. Let me know if you like this quirk or if you do something else for his quirk. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks next time.